guys, Coach Todd here. Good to be talking to you again. I got an answer to a question for you that I get all the time. I at least get this question 2 or 3 times a week. Is what should I use to get the best results? Should I use free weights or dumbbells, or should I use resistance bands? And you're going to see a lot of stuff out there on the internet telling you which one is better. The difference is that I have used both. I know what kind of results you can get using both. So I'm not going to tell you. I don't have a biased opinion, because I know you can get great results with both. I will tell you which ones will get you the best results if you stay tuned and watch this video all the way through. But first, I'm just going to show you the equipment I used and still use, actually. This is a set of 100-pound pole resistance bands. I got these at Dick's Sporting Goods. You can get them at Academy, or I don't know what's on the East Coast, but we have Dick's Sporting Goods over here on the West Coast. I think I paid $20 for the resistance bands. I think I paid about $7 or $8 each for the handles. You know, real high density polyethylene plastic. Super strong band. Like I said, it's a 100-pound pull. Some of the advantages, I'll go into the disadvantages and advantages of both. So let's go ahead and I'll just get into the advantages of resistance bands. The number one advantage I have found with resistance bands is portability. I can take these things anywhere. I travel, not a lot, but I do travel for work once in a while, and I don't want to miss my workouts on the road, so I stuff these in my carry-on bag. I've even put them in my laptop bag. They fold up enough. I will caution you, TSA probably will open up your bag and see if you have drugs inside these tubes or something. That's happened to me a couple times. But extremely portable. You have no excuse not to work out on the road. You know, and maybe your hotel doesn't have a gym. You know, if you have this P90X app, or maybe you got your DVDs with you, man, you're set. You can work out in your hotel room. So these provide a no excuse workout plan. Whether you're on the road, on vacation, you can put these in a suitcase or even in a laptop bag. So another advantage of resistance bands is actually the motion that they allow, the kind of motions they allow you to do. Maybe you play baseball and stuff. You've seen some guys, you know, swing bats in swimming pools to provide resistance. Well, one thing you can do with bands is actually anchor the band to the wall and actually, you know, go through the motions of a swing. That's one really cool thing about bands, is while free weights or dumbbells provide resistance in a vertical plane because of gravity. You know, the dumbbell always wants to drop straight down. Gravity, perpendicular to the ground. So 9.8 meters per second. There's some physics for you. But you can anchor this to any point on a wall, on a ceiling, and you can make that resistance in the horizontal plane, and on a diagonal plane, on a vertical plane pulling down, on a vertical plane pulling up. So you can use these for lat pulls if you find an anchor point. I highly recommend, if you are doing lat pulls with or pull-ups with resistance bands, your anchor point should be on the opposite side of a doorway. So don't put it on the same side of a doorway that you're working on. If you can take this and put it over a rafter or something, maybe you have unfinished ceilings, you can put it up over a rafter. That's even better. But if you're indoors, do it in a doorway. Put the band on the opposite side of the doorway. That way, if your anchor point rips out of the wall, I've seen anchor points come back and smack people in the face, and it is ugly. So put the anchor point on the opposite side of the doorway, so that if the anchor point comes out, the band will drop down instead of slinging back at your face. Another advantage of bands is just their versatility. You know, I can go straight from bicep. You know, this is a 100-pound band, so I might not be able to do this very well, but I can go straight from bicep curls right into flies, and that was terrible form. Like I said, this is a 100-pound pull band, so but they're extremely versatile. And one thing I do like about bands, you do have to kind of use a bunch of little stabilizer muscles to keep keep the band still, which is really cool. Disadvantages, big disadvantage is these actually, for me, limited my strength gains. You know, I didn't have dumbbells at the time, my first 180 days in P90X. I lost 53 pounds, but I think I could have made a lot more gains if I had free weights. These really, you're limited by the resistance this offers. Same with free weights, but you know, with free weights you can go really high in weight. With something like this, you know, if I, let's say these become too easy for me with this 100-pound pull band. Now this, I'm not curling 100 pounds right here, but let's say that becomes too easy, and now I have to put a loop in it and step on that loop to increase the resistance. Well, when I do that, that's just ridiculous, and I can't pull that up. So the amount of resistance that bands provide it's not really incremental. It's either a little resistance, you put a loop in it, and it's almost too much resistance. So I suggest getting a number of different bands that are interchangeable with handles so that you can mess around with that. The disadvantage of that is you're always switching out bands with your handles. So that's one thing I don't like about bands. The other thing is that when your strength starts to increase, obviously you're going to be testing the elasticity of these bands. And what I used to do is, you know, I've actually done this a few times. Step on the band. I'm doing an overhead tricep extension like this or something. See, that's really hard with a 100-pound pull band. But I've had bands snap on me while doing overhead tricep extensions, and it just whips you across the back or something, and then you got like a 1/4-inch raised welt across your back or across your calf or something. I've got them in multiple places, but that's one thing I don't like about these. So before you work out with bands, be sure you inspect them, make sure there's no cracks or tears or anything in the band, because that will snap with higher resistance and it will smack you across the face or the back or wherever. So that's the advantages and disadvantages of bands. Let's go ahead and get into the free weights. Now, these are my free weights. These are actually Life Smart dumbbells. Got these from academy.com for $200 with free shipping. Quite the deal. So they're adjustable from 5 to 55 pounds, and I simply slide these red indicators to the weight that I want, and it's that quick. Now, the advantages of dumbbells, if you have adjustable dumbbells, is you can change the weight quickly. You know, they take up very little space compared to a full set of, you know, free weights where you have a set of 5s, 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s, all the way up. Now you can have one dumbbell with you know, from 5 to 55 pounds, and both flex even make some that go from 5 to 109 pounds. So, or I think it's 10 to 109 pounds. So those are extremely versatile. You can adjust them on the fly quickly. They take up very little workout space. There is a huge advantage that free weights have over resistance bands, and that is that dumbbells or free weights provide a consistent resistance throughout your move. So let's say you're trying to focus on building mass or something, so you start doing negatives or eccentric lifting where you blast up, and then on the negative portion of the rep you do a 4 count down, you're going down slow. Well, with a band, you know, you pop up. As you're lowering that weight, the resistance level is going down because you're shortening the tension, you're shortening the length of the band when you're releasing the weight, so the resistance goes down. So with free weights, you can continue that same level of resistance throughout the move, and you're having to use all your stabilizer muscles to fight against gravity, which is awesome. And that actually tears about 25% more muscle than bands do. And when you can tear more muscle fibers, if you're focusing on recovery and repairing your muscle, getting enough sleep, getting the proper nutrients after your workout, then you're going to make huge strength gains compared to resistance bands, and you're also going to make significantly more size gains as well. So that is a giant advantage that free weights have and dumbbells have over resistance bands. One disadvantage of free weights is the cost. I got mine for $200, which is pretty reasonable, but I've seen them go up to $800 and $900, or even over $1,000 for a full set of like gym quality, like a rack of weights. But depending on your budget, like I said, I got mine for $200, very affordable, at academy.com. Another disadvantage that free weights have, and it's not so much a disadvantage of the free weights themselves, but it's more of the disadvantage the free weights put the user at, is people tend with free weights to want to use momentum to get the weight up. So, they'll drop their shoulder, or they'll swing their arm up, or maybe you're doing like a shoulder press, you might drop your knee down or something to get that weight up. You do all kinds of things with your body in order to get the weight up, which is just, it puts you at a very high risk of injury. So if you're using free weights, just be sure you have good form. It's as simple as that. Don't be stupid. Lift smart and keep good form. So I wouldn't say that's a disadvantage of dumbbells, but it's a disadvantage. It's actually a risk that you put yourself in when using dumbbells or free weights. So use good form. That's about it, guys. Hopefully I covered, all the bases there. Definitely, if you can swing it, if you can swing the cost, go for free weights, go for dumbbells, adjustable dumbbells. Like I said, I got mine for $200 on academy.com. They're called LifeSmart. They're adjustable from 5 to 55 pounds. If you can't swing that, spend $30, get a set of resistance bands. You might need to get a few different bands for different types of resistance or different levels of resistance, but definitely going to be less expensive than free weights. But both will get you good results, but if you want best results, I highly recommend you go with dumbbells. So hopefully that answered your question on whether or not you should use dumbbells or resistance bands in P90X or in the gym or just at home, whatever you're doing. If you have any questions, leave me comments below in the comment section. Go ahead and give the face or this video a thumbs up. I think it's right down there, something. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. God bless you, and we'll see you.